Dark night of the soul, after trauma. Why pain changes you forever. There is a strange moment that many trauma survivors experience. The crisis may be over. The loss may have happened months or even years ago. Life appears to be moving forward, yet something inside feels fundamentally different. The old version of you seems gone, and no amount of effort can bring it back. What if this change is not simply emotional damage? What if trauma sometimes initiates a deeper spiritual process, one that mystics, philosophers, and spiritual seekers have described for centuries as the dark night of the soul? This idea can be unsettling because it suggests that some forms of suffering do more than hurt us. They dismantle us. And that dismantling is where the mystery begins. The term dark night of the soul originated with Saint John of the Cross, a Spanish mystic who described a profound period of spiritual darkness in which old sources of meaning, certainty, and comfort suddenly disappear. Rather than being a punishment, he viewed this darkness as a stage of spiritual transformation, a painful stripping away of false identities and attachments before deeper awakening could occur. Trauma often creates conditions remarkably similar to this description. A devastating breakup, betrayal, illness, accident, spiritual crisis, or loss can shatter the assumptions that once made life feel predictable. The person who believed the world was safe may no longer believe it. The person who trusted certain relationships may no longer trust them. The identity built over the years can suddenly collapse. But what happens when those foundations fall away? This is where many people encounter the darkness that cannot be solved through simple positivity. They are not merely grieving an event. They are grieving the death of an entire way of seeing themselves and the world. Psychologist Harry T. Hunt studied the phenomenon of the dark night of the soul and described it as a painful loss of meaning and inner certainty. His work suggests that spiritual suffering often involves the breakdown of previous structures of identity before a new sense of self can emerge. This explains why trauma can feel so disorienting. The pain is not only about what happened, it is also about who you can no longer be after it happened. Yet another mystery appears here. Some people emerge from trauma with greater wisdom, compassion, and spiritual depth than they possessed before. Why? Psychologists Richard Tedeschi and Lawrence Calhoun developed the theory of post-traumatic growth. Their research found that many individuals report positive transformation after severe adversity. These changes often include greater appreciation of life, stronger relationships, increased inner strength, and significant spiritual development. Notice the important distinction. The growth does not happen because trauma is good. The growth comes from the struggle, which forces people to confront questions they might never have asked otherwise. Who am I when everything familiar disappears? What truly matters? Why am I here? What remains when all external certainty is removed? From a spiritual perspective, the dark night of the soul is often understood as a purification process. Trauma exposes attachments, illusions, and identities that once seemed permanent. The experience is painful because the ego naturally resists surrender. Yet many spiritual traditions teach that awakening often begins precisely where certainty ends. This does not mean every traumatic experience is a dark night, nor does it mean spiritual suffering should be confused with clinical depression or mental illness. Researchers continue to emphasize the importance of distinguishing spiritual crises from psychological disorders, while recognizing that both may require support and healing. Still, for many seekers, trauma becomes the doorway through which deeper spiritual understanding enters. The person who emerges is rarely the same person who entered, not because the pain disappeared, but because the pain transformed their relationship with life itself. The dark night of the soul after trauma is not merely about suffering. It is about transformation through suffering. Trauma can dismantle identities, beliefs, and assumptions that once defined us, leaving us in a frightening inner darkness. Yet spiritual traditions and modern psychological research both suggest that this darkness can become a catalyst for profound growth. The pain may leave permanent marks, but those marks often become the very places where wisdom, compassion, and spiritual awakening take root. In that sense, trauma changes you forever. not by destroying your soul, but by revealing dimensions of it that were hidden all along.